Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and being here for the highly anticipated continuation of our Korean cultural training sessions. This was made possible by the Community Foundation of Howard County, so we're so thankful for them and their investment into our community to help us out this morning and then for our continuing sessions. I am Caitlin Sheets, Economic Development Manager at the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance. If you look outside these beautiful windows to the north, you can see the massive structure that represents a $6.4 billion investment into our community. What we anticipate will be just as prevalent, and if not more so, are the effects that this investment will have on your businesses and our local community as a whole. So thank you for being here. At the Greater Kokomo Alliance, we see it as our duty and our responsibility to provide you with the information that will help you to take this investment and turn it into a positive utilization for good in your business and in our community. Today, Sue from Moyers Consulting will give you valuable information that you can walk away and implement into your business to help us create a welcoming environment and put our best foot forward as a community. So thank you for recognizing the need for that and being here this morning. Now I will introduce Sue. A lot of you will probably recognize her from our 2023 sessions. So she's back to help us this morning and review some topics from our first sessions. So if you were not able to make it, today will be a great way to catch up, a reminder, and we will be able to also produce video footage that you'll find on our website. So Sue, if you'd like to get started, thank you all, and she will get us kicked off. Thanks.
Good morning. Just by show of hands, not many of you. Okay. So we have who's never seen my face before. Okay, we have some more to do here. Thank you for your time. I know, like, Wednesday 9 o'clock, like who wants to like go to a training? But thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Like Caitlin said, I've done like a monthly series for Korean business training culture last year for Kokomo Chamber members and hospitality folks and those that were interested. And we've gotten to first responder training as well. So I truly appreciate the community's interest in this and trying to be prepared for what's coming to Kokomo. So me and my business partner, BJ Moyers, we are Moyers Consulting. We're based in Tippecanoe County. An hour, very easy drive from to here. I was born and raised in South Korea and came to US when I was 13, so English is my second language, and went through the whole ESL, English for second language, and went to Purdue University for accounting and finance, and somehow got involved with law enforcement sector of it. I serve as a reserve officer at Battleground Police Department in Tippecanoe County. And with Moyers Consulting, we provide training to law enforcement, focusing on cultural diversity. And the picture in the middle is how we got here in the first place. With the former mayor, we got to work with connecting sister city in China. My business partner, BJ, speaks Mandarin Chinese. So we've known Kokomo for a number of years, and when we heard surplus energy was coming, they thought of us, and here we are again. So I've been working with a lot of folks from Kokomo and have been really enjoying this. So I'm glad we have a good mixture of old and new folks to Korean culture. So just curious, for the folks that are joining us for the first time today, have you guys been exposed to Korean culture? Have you met Korean people in town already? So we're not so like foreign to you, right? Good. So today I thought of pulling a couple slides from what we trained last year. So it will be kind of like a refresher for those who have attended our training, or it could be a new information for the new friends that are joining us today. So we'll focus on business etiquette, culture norms, food and beverage culture. And I deliver this training not to categorize Koreans in a certain way. Everyone's different, right? If you think of American culture, there's no one definition, right? So when it comes to Korean people that are coming here, they may come with a little bit of experience living in Western world, and some people might speak better English than not. But I'm giving you this information so that you kind of understand why Koreans behave certain way, why we think certain way, because of our culture background. Does that make sense? Okay. And after I run through the cultural aspects of it, I'd like to open the forum to hear about your experience interacting with Koreans. I mean, we're all friends here, right? I want this to be a learning atmosphere where if you have like a weird interaction with Koreans, I'm here to answer that so that you don't go home and think about like, oh, that was kind of weird. I wonder why. Maybe, hopefully I can connect the dot for you so you may have a better interaction and build better relationship with Koreans in town. So that is my goal. And we'll end with Q&A and share with you what more GKEDA has come for you. Sounds good? Okay, so we talked about Korean business mindset. Our culture is very heavily rooted with Confucian principles. So basically respecting elders, especially, is respecting others. We like to treat elderly with greatest respect. And we kind of have, like being modest is being the best human being we could be kind of thing. So this kind of comes into place where you see Koreans greet each other, we bow, right? You've seen Koreans bow to each other, right? There are many Asian countries that bow differently. Like some people, you know, when you go to Thailand, people bow with both hands. But Koreans like to bow to show respect to one another. And collective mindset. You probably have seen Koreans working together in a group, going to a Korean restaurant in a group, going to Starbucks after, it's a must. Koreans love coffee. Drinking coffee together in a group, go back to work, and then like drive together, right? Like you've probably seen like social bubbles, right, around the town. We have that collective mindset, which probably, if I could guess, in our historical sense, we were invaded by so many different foreign countries that we had to stay together to keep what's ours, right? So it was constant. If you are interested in Korean culture, it was constant. So we kind of have that mindset of like, we need to stay together and keep what's ours. If you compare the size of South Korea, we're slightly, Korea Peninsula, it's divided, right? So South Korea, it's about the size of state of Indiana. But we're very highly populated, like 52 million people, right? And it's such a small country, but it was possible that we were able to build great global companies and have like K-pop sensation. It's because we kind of have that collective mindset, like we need to keep what's Korean. So I've been living in US for 23 years. You cannot take Korean out of me. Like I still think like Korean. I prefer to eat Korean food over, hot dogs and pizza, whatever. So it will be with us, right, embedded. So we kind of have that sense of we will go with what's better for the group than what's better for individuals. So it's kind of like the completely opposite from American culture, right? Individualism, it's more valued in America than in Korea. So we kind of want to ask what is the majority opinion of the group instead of asking individual and see, like, for example, going to lunch together. Everybody's gonna want to talk and like vote and do the majority vote and then go to that restaurant instead of going to 8 different restaurants, if that makes sense. All right, so like I mentioned, centralized decision making, that's what we're used to it. We kind of have the social hierarchy of we want to respect what's preferred by the elderly, and we kind of want to go with that kind of thing because we just want to be very respectful for elders. And long-term thinking, it kind of goes on with the whole foreign invasion and the history. We like to think ahead. Instead of, like if you ask college students in Korea, they probably think of, I need to get good jobs so that my kids, my grandkids have decent life. Like we like to think long-term because of that. We like to carry on our family name and so forth. Hurry culture, or we call it 빨리빨리. We like to get things done, right? So you probably, have you seen Korean people like just super impatient? I see some nodding. Things are very fast-paced. If you visit South Korea, we like to get things done pretty fast, like Amazon Prime, like level of like same-day delivery. Like if you go to like government agencies, you probably get things processed like the next day, if not on the day of. So I do warn a lot of Koreans coming here, not just Kokomo, but US, that when you have to deal with BMB, when you have to deal with government agencies, they're gonna say 7 to 10 business days. You're gonna have to just learn how to wait, right? Even the way Koreans walk, it's faster than normal. You probably have noticed, we just have places to be. Like we just like to get things done really fast. Like I mentioned, when the mayor walked in today, we hugged because we've been knowing each other, but we did the proper handshaking with both hands because he learned from my training. It goes hand with respecting others. We like to use both hands. So especially when we are shaking hands, you'll see Koreans doing both hands and shaking hands and bowing at the same time. It's very common. Respectful bow versus slight bow. So we kind of have like different degree, like depth of bow. Like, so the deeper you bow means you're someone's showing you greater respect. So I'm sharing all of this not for you to do this when you meet Korean people. I'm just warning you, when Koreans meet you, they may bow, right? And you may bow too if you feel comfortable. If you just hadn't had lunch and feel comfortable bowing, go ahead and do so. But just know that extra hand might come when they're shaking hands. It's just telling you, I'm really happy that we've met. Even when we are exchanging as small as business cards, we like to use both hands. We actually did a demo last year when we did this. Even smallest thing, right? Like business cards, we like to use both hands and receive using both hands, just out of respect. This is kind of like rule of thumb when it comes to Koreans. We just like to, even piece of paper, or if you want to show picture on the cell phone, we like to use both hands. And guiding someone to come sit down, you would see Koreans using both hands. It's just embedded to us, like using both hands, if that makes sense. At work, we're such a social animal. We like to, we kind of build relationship by eating together, drinking together, and socializing together. So I was so shocked when I got my first job in the US, like everyone was eating at their desk. I'm like, what kind of culture is this, right? And then I got to like lure my coworkers and say, hey, let's go out and like get to know one another. But it was such a cultural difference that I experienced. In Korea, you see a lot of coworkers eating out together. And we kind of say that like, we're not friends until we eat together and drink together, because we spill a lot of things about our personal lives when we're eating and drinking together. So if you're trying to have some business deals with Koreans, make sure you dine at least once to get to know one another. It's really important to us. Don't let this alarm you. This is before COVID, okay? But how we dine is interesting from American perspective. Even the setup for our table for meal, you would see like a center, like a stew or barbecue where everybody just chips in, right? So it's kind of like a communal dining culture that we have. It's kind of like I eat something good and you eat something good and we're enjoying this together instead of like ordering separate dishes. You might see, like, when you eat out with Koreans, you might see Koreans, like, looking at your dish and wonder what that tastes like, right? Because we're just so used to sharing dishes, sharing meals. I remember one episode from Friends, Joey doesn't like to share food. That was an interesting episode from Korean perspective because we love sharing food. We didn't bring chopsticks, but anyone tried using chopsticks? Okay, that's pretty good. Anyone who has never touched chopsticks? Okay. I'll play this video so that something will plant seed.
Here is a simple way to learn chopsticks. With a little practice, you'll be a master in no time. Step 1, go ahead and just pinch the chopstick or somewhere around the middle, a little bit above, to where you just are pinching it with your 2 fingers. Now you'll have a hole underneath and just slide the other stick underneath that. Now I'm pinching the top and I'm using my other finger, my middle finger there, to go ahead and just hold the other side. So I have the top pinched, the middle finger is bracing the other side, and of course it's being braced by the inside of my thumb. So once again, pinch the top, slide in the bottom, and then go ahead and use that little middle finger right there. There you go. Now you can go ahead and use the chopsticks to do whatever you need to. It's really simple. If you need to adjust them a little bit more, do that as well. There you go. Great for picking up things, great for scooping. Some people try to pick things up like that with chopsticks. You don't want to do it that way. That is a no-no. You want to use them like you would use a fork. Kind of sideways, pick them up, move things around if you need to, and then just have them at an angle, grab what you want to eat, scoop it up, and eat away. Hope this helped, guys. Bye-bye.
So once you learn how to use chopsticks, you'll learn that it's so versatile. You could do so much with chopsticks. So I strongly recommend you just get used to it, right? Who has tried Korean food here before? Wow! Is it from the restaurants, the new restaurants in Kokomo? No? Okay, elsewhere? Yeah? What's your favorite Korean restaurant so far in Kokomo? Huh? Mr. Kim? Oh. Okay, nice. I haven't tried Korean restaurants, but kudos to Mayor for bringing so many Korean restaurants in town. You'll see that once you try Korean food, you might find it's a little spicy. Like everything will look red to you, right? We like spicy food in Korea. So you'll see very popular food item called kimchi, which is a pickled radish. It can be in many different forms, but if you haven't tried, maybe try the washed out version and then build up your tolerance for spicy level. But I strongly recommend it. Fermented food is good for you. That's what my mom told me, and it's scientifically proven. Again, when you go to restaurants, Korean restaurants, you'll see so many side dishes on your table. It's just that we kind of like to have a well-balanced meal, each meal. It'll probably comprise of like a rice for you, and then maybe main stew or main barbecue or main dish for everybody to share, and then so many side dishes. It's just a lot of fun, right? Compared to you go to Applebee's and there's just one dish, one food. It's so boring, don't you think? Like, look at Korean food, how diversified it is. And we're known for popular street foods. I'm sure a lot of these items are being sold as an appetizer at Korean restaurants. So just feel free to try different food and ask the workers or the restaurant owners what these are. Like we joke that Koreans love language is food. Like we just love talking about food, even when we're eating food, right? It's like joy in life. So don't be shy from asking food with other Koreans. I may have mentioned that Koreans like to socialize and drink together very much. Anyone tried our rice wine called soju? Somebody, you raised your hand before I finished. That's so funny. Good for you. So we have a very beloved rice wine called soju. It's usually sold in green bottle. It's like 20% alcohol, so it's a party. It's a good time when you try it. So just wanted to mention that because we like to use both hands, when we like to pour drinks to one another. We don't like to see empty glasses when we're drinking together. And when we do that, we like to use both hands, right? To receive drinks and also to pour drinks, we like to use both hands. And it doesn't have to be alcoholic beverage. Koreans might do that when they're pouring you water or serving you some sort of beverage. So just remember that they might use both hands. A couple things that Koreans are not used to. The mayor and I hugged, but you don't see a lot of Korean people meeting first time hugging. We're just not a hugging culture. It's kind of foreign to us. But of course, when you're in a romantic relationship or you're longtime friends or relatives, they do hug. But you don't see that at a business relationship or people meeting for the first time. Shaking hands, of course, or fist bumps, right? But not really hugging. Anyone has fun stories about that? Have you tried hugging? Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, in our experience so far, we're Star Plus Energy.
Oh, hello.
Hi. In our experience so far, it's been the Koreans are very touchy with Americans, and so that's what. Yeah, that's why we're like, whoa, this is backwards from kind of what we've experienced.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you find them more Americanized than others?
No, as a matter of fact, it's a good mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I may have a feeling that they probably watched a lot of American shows and did American culture training on their own.
Okay.
And they learned that, hey, when Americans meet, they like to hug and like, maybe that might be the case.
Yeah, we had to have conversations like, you can't do all that. So, yeah.
It's complete
interesting.
opposite. Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know. Yes, ma'am.
I spent 5 months in the university,
Oh, nice.
and my professor, when I left,
Uh-huh.
he actually gave me a hug
Uh-huh.
before I left, so,
Okay.
yeah.
See, before you left, right? So I think the relationship has been, it's been positive
Yeah.
and there you got the hug. But you don't see people hugging like first time you do
I
that.
think university students maybe,
Okay.
but they're all friends, so I think they're.
You know what? I may pitch this slide and say, like, Koreans apparently like to touch each other. No, that's not true. But generic sense, like, especially business settings, like, it's, I may have to check on your employees as surplus. But I'm glad they feel comfortable doing that. Another thing, when you are invited to a Korean person's home, ask if they if you should keep your shoes on or if they prefer you take off their shoes. So Koreans, how we are used to is like shoes off, Like it's kind of like rule of thumb. Even when we go out to eat, a lot of restaurants, we usually take off our shoes and jump onto the platform and sit down. It's kind of like the common thing. So I always warn my American friends to wear clean socks when you're invited to Korean person's homes, because most likely you're gonna have to take off your shoes. And again, using both hands to give and receive things. Using both hands, this is kind of like old school. When people think of like Asian countries, when they bow, they probably do this, right? Like hello. You could do that in other countries, like in Thailand and like a lot of Buddhist countries. And we do bow like that with both hands when we are visiting Buddhist temples. But don't assume that like this is how we bow to Koreans. Couple of body language thing. Other than this, I point out that how we say come here. So when Americans say come here, what do you guys do? Come here, come this way. Right? This, like this, right? So in Korea, it's the palm down, and we say like come here please, maybe with both hands, or come here. So this in Korean, a lot of Korean generic sense means like let's fight, like bring it on kind of thing. So you just never know how body language will be perceived. It's not just Korean culture, right? So many different countries have their own body languages, but I just thought I should let you know common things. Or waving with the hands like, oh, no, I'm okay. Have you guys seen this before? Like, oh, I'm okay. Like when you're offering food or whatever, oh, I'm okay. It kind of looks like hello, like, but it's actually, oh, I'm okay, it's okay. Or saying no when they're wanting to say no. But other body language is very similar to American culture too, like 2 thumbs up, like thumbs up. I think Facebook made it global, right? Thumbs up's good. What other body languages have you seen Koreans do? This, a little heart, oh my. Yeah, that's like younger generation. K-pop made it popular. Anything you've seen, Koreans? Hand gestures, body languages? Nothing stands out to you? Gift giving. I want to talk about that briefly. So it's kind of like common sense when you are invited to someone's home, you want to bring something, like bottle of wine or whatever, fruits, chocolates, whatever. Koreans like to give one another, and like we like to give food items because we just love food. We can not talk enough about it. And we think of like packaging very important. So try to avoid like just CVS plastic baggie. That shows no effort, right? But I'm talking about like business sense, right? If you're trying to make a business relationship with a Korean person or trying to become friends, like a little effort, that extra mile of like doing a little packaging will go a long way. Of course, using both hands will give you extra brownie points there. This is kind of like kind of old school taboo. I'm not sure if it's like still going on in Korean modern culture, but avoid multiples of 4. Number 4 means the number 4, the sound for it, it means death in Korea. So we try to avoid number 4. It's kind of like number 13 in America, if that makes sense. It's kind of like bad luck. Or avoid dark or black wrapping paper or red ink. Red ink is also associated with death, so try to avoid that if you could. And avoid too expensive gifts. They might feel, oh shoot, like I received this like really expensive gift. I need to reciprocate and buy something of that value. So it might be a burden to Korean person on the first time meeting. So like a moderately cutely packaged would be the way to go, if that makes sense. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, we have some questions. We're with IU, Kokomo,
Yay!
and so our brand is red.
Uh-huh.
And what recommendations would you have in regards to gifts or flyers, things like that, as
See,
we're?
Purdue doesn't have that issue.
We're sitting in Purdue.
Yay! No, I mean, it's not bloody red, right? So it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I didn't think about logos. Yeah, that should be fine. I wanted to leave you with a couple of Korean phrases so you are familiar hearing it, and if you could remember it, it's okay to butcher it. I mean, it's a brand new language to you, right? So if Koreans hear you trying to say these words, like, they will appreciate that you're trying to show that you are you're trying to be culturally aware. So to say hello politely, we say 안녕하세요. Can you guys say it?
안녕하세요.
Mayor?
안녕하세요.
Yep, it's like his second language already. He said it so many times. So we say 안녕하세요. And if you do that while you're saying it, if you do a slight bow, they will know that you know so much about Korean culture already. So to say thank you in a polite way, we say 감사합니다. Can you say it? 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Right. Or say thank you. We understand thank you. I think a lot of foreigners understand thank you. Also, if you do a slight bow, that would be perfect. So when you're learning about new culture, like there will be misunderstanding, there will be mistakes made. I mean, that's how we learn, right? So I leave you with this: if all fails, just be polite, be patient, because they're trying to learn American culture, English language as well, so it'll take time, right? And just be thick-skinned. I think this is the way to get to know another when there's a language barrier and cultural barrier. So that's end of my presentation. And I wanted to open up to ask you guys, if you guys had positive, it could be negative interaction too, positive or interesting interaction with Koreans. If you don't mind speaking up, that would be great, so we can all learn from one another.
Sue, I think something, I'm Lori, for those of you who don't know me, but I think something that would be really helpful for our business community or anyone is when we have had Korean guests in our office, knowing what the appropriate gifts are. I understand not too expensive, I understand not red, I know some of those basic things, but I think we even,
Thanks. With the mayor's office, we're often calling each other when we're expecting a company or guests and saying, what do you have? What do you have? What do you think? And, trying to identify what those more appropriate gifts are and when it's appropriate to give a gift and when it is not. And also I've had happen a surprise visit by Korean companies and then they bring a gift and then I don't have anything and then is that bad?
Gotcha. That's a lot of questions, Lori. Thank you for that. I would say, like, the easiest will be food items. Like, if you like coffee, like Koreans love coffee, and dessert items, it's always good to go. I mean, you guys have the famous chocolate place here. And it already comes in like perfectly packaged thing, so I think that'll be a great choice. Like, try to avoid like perishable items like flowers. Maybe it's my personal thing, but food is always very safe. And if you are not prepared for it, but if you have like custom made something that says it's from Kokomo, I think that'll be great. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy like glass product from the Kokomo glass place, but it's something unique from Kokomo that they could remember Kokomo by. I think that's that'll be great to go. And when to gift them would be like, I think at the end of the interaction, I think there would be like a cherry on top if you gift them at the end.
Then what if they have a gift and I don't?
Give them a hug. Just kidding. In that case,
Would you recommend having like non-perishable stuff, like a gift or something on hand, kind of?
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, that says GKEDA, something with your logo on it, that's something they cannot buy it from Walmart. I think that would be a great thing to do. Any other questions? Or want to share experience? Oh, there, yes.
Couple things. So they are also, and this may be in a follow-up session, but also when the groups come in, they are very particular about where people sit in meetings and such. I mean, those that are considered higher in authority are given seats or expected to have seats of greater distinction or hierarchy as well.
Yeah, we do that. It kind of has to do with the Confucius teaching as well. We kind of have that, like a social hierarchy. We want the person with the highest position to be the most comfortable. So probably at a table setting where he can see everybody kind of thing. And somebody with the lower position near the door of a private room where the person can check in with the restaurant in and out. It's kind of like a common rule of thumb where the person will sit kind of like in the very corner of the private room where he doesn't have to move around much, where the workers for him might be seated close to the door or close to the restaurant workers so they can be communicated kind of thing. Yeah, so
And I also wanted to share an experience going back to the previous slide that said be thick-skinned. So I hadn't seen a high senior executive at Star Plus in a number of months. And so when we reconnected, he's like, "Oh, you look thick. You look heavy. Is everything okay?" And he was just being polite. He noticed that maybe it was through the winter months. I had put on the holiday pounds, whatever. But I mean, it wasn't meant to be, offensive, and I didn't take offense to it. I mean, knowing the culture and such, but I know that.
Funny. That
I think somebody else was like, "Oh my gosh," and he felt terrible. I saw him a few weeks later. I was like, "I am so sorry." I'm like, "No, I didn't think anything of it."
Yeah.
I mean, they're just very particular, very observant, and very personal. So
that's such a lost in translation thing. He meant to say you look well, meaning like, oh, you must be doing well that you're well fed.
It got me back into the lie, though. It got my butt back on a treadmill.
I'm sure he didn't mean it that way, but yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. Anybody else? Yes.
So I work for a hotel, and we would like to do like a social gathering kind of thing for food. What would I see your pictures of like all the different food items?
But what would be good items to make sure we had there for that event for them?
I would say if you visit South Korea, you would see all type of cuisine. Like Koreans are very exposed to many different countries' cuisines. It wouldn't matter what kind of food you have, but please make sure you have chopsticks, because they will eat spaghetti with chopsticks. They will eat steak with chopsticks, like poke it and cut it. They will use it however they see fit. So not focusing too much on the food items because Koreans like to eat anything, but having like extra napkins and chopsticks might be a great choice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sarah. I'm with
Hi.
Talent. I'm talent manager of Star Plus. And so I've been with Star Plus for a year, and I think all of us here can, every day is different.
Okay.
And we're learning from the culture, but in kind of what the mayor said, the spirit of you just know that we're all learning from each other. And so I sit next to my boss who is Korean. He's what we call a sekandi. And so he, I think I worked with him for, 6-8 months, and every day, how are you doing, Jay? And I found out then it should be, are you okay? That's how he said that he's used to being greeted. I'm like, oh, okay. How are you okay, Jay? So, it's just the little things. I think we're constantly learning and growing. So I do feel that most of the Koreans that we work with are very understanding. And, we are definitely understanding of, we're trying to learn a new culture just the same way they are. So.
Love that.
Yeah, just important to remember that. I don't think anybody is intentionally trying to be call you fat.
Yes. Lost in translation, yes. Yes? Yeah, go ahead.
When I was in Korean university, I actually met a Korean before I came to Korea. And when I came to Korea, she actually invited me into her home, and her parents made me a meal and everything. And it made me very grateful that I was able to spend time with her before, so that I could get that experience of the inner workings of a Korean house. And, I was very grateful. She was so nice. She didn't really have to, take me into her home, but she did. So.
Did you have clean socks on?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a bonus. Awesome. So you enjoyed Korea. Anybody else? Yes. I'm so sorry, Caitlin. It's all over the place.
That's okay. It'll just take me a little while to get there.
So, being part of the HR team too, we are hiring. So, in all kinds of positions at Star Plus. This is our, second largest hiring. Interpreters is a major one. And I'm really hoping the woman in the front who just was at Korea is an interpreter. So I'm just letting you know. I'm just putting it out there. But one of the benefits we have, which is what attracted me to work there, is we get free lunch. Hence the food, the gathering, and yes, only HR is at their desk eating. Only. By choice, because we have people to hire. But everybody's out in the common area, and we have a Korean restaurant, what'd you call it again, KBB? Korean barbecue. And so that's one option, and then an American option that we get to order from every day, and we get $15 allowance each day. So I think that's pretty cool, because it's a Korean culture thing. So, and again, salary and benefits were great, but free lunch, where do I sign?
Wow, that's a great promo for Star Plus.
I'm thinking it was. Who was it?
Oh, that's free lunch. That's great. Make sure you give her your history.
So, my name is Kevin, and we are part of the HMH contractors team here in Kokomo. Back to the mayor's question, in a business type setting, is it also important for you to sit down and try to match the president on the other side with the president that we have, and then vice president to vice president? I know that's the way in the Japanese culture. Is that the same?
I think it's almost expected, at least the first time meeting, so that they kind of can categorize the positions, if you will. So I think it's very similar to Korean culture too. Yeah. But then once you get to know another, then you can mix and match. But at least for the first time meeting, I think that's a very common practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then along those same lines, your bow. Should the bow be deeper or further down to the president than the vice president, maybe a little slightly higher in that sequence? Is that what they look for also in the little things?
We do that. Do you guys want to practice bowing together? Maybe we can do that? Sure. Yeah, do you guys mind standing? We're all learning. I mean, I wouldn't categorize like president and then president and vice president and so forth. It's just a courtesy to kind of differentiate, but no one's gonna measure your body to see, is that the presidential bow, vice presidential bow? No. So let's try to kind of like bow, say hello. Like this will be deep enough to show great respect, hello. But if you are meeting Korean colleagues that you see day to day, maybe like this is kind of like more like a hello gesture. Hello again kind of thing. Does that make sense? Like deeper, you can feel the difference? Yeah. But just know that no one's gonna measure your body for the degree. They'll know what you're trying to do because we know that Americans don't bow. So if you do bow, like it will show that you're really respecting our culture. Okay? Right, and Sid, thank you.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
As far as business cards go, is it important to the South Koreans that your business card should be on the finest paper that you can find as opposed to just a normal business card?
I don't think so. A lot of like Korean people became so digital oriented that they probably prefer your email signature once you have the email exchange. So, I mean, it's good to have your business card, but I wouldn't say pay too much attention to the quality of the paper. Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other comments? Oh, right there.
My name is Katie. I work with Community First Bank of Indiana. I attended Ball State University, and I was actually in an international dorm my first year on campus, and I was just curious about like eye contact in passing, like how to make friends. I'm super extrovert, and I noticed that kind of the culture was my energy was not matching that energy, and I was like, I don't know how to make friends with these different cultures, and I just wasn't sure like what is the best way to make a quick friend, and then also is eye contact, and like I know you said hurry culture, and that was very much what our hallways were. It was like, hi, oh, bye, and I'm like I wanted to like make a friend, but I just don't know the best way to do that.
Sure. When it comes to eye contact, we're not used to making the constant eye contact throughout the conversation. You'll see Koreans like looking away and coming back at you kind of thing. We're just not used to like prolonged eye contact. So you might notice that right away. And if you do give them like a direct eye contact for a long time, like it may, I mean, it's kind of universal. It could make some people uncomfortable. So, use your judgment on that. And so Koreans are not used to making small talk. So instead of like just randomly talking about the weather, like if you ask personal questions, we're very used to asking personal questions, like what's your age? What school did you go to kind of thing. The reason why Koreans ask age to each other is we have a formal way of speaking and informal way of speaking. So formal with myself and whoever's older and whoever has a greater position than I do, I use formal. And when we get to know each other and between friends, we use informal. So asking age is kind of like it's like a first time meeting, like what's your age? Oh, okay, you're younger? Okay, let me give you some advice on whatever. And if you are older, I may show greater respect and use the formal way. It's so asking what you might think as a personal question might be welcomed by Korean people because it shows that you're interested in my personal life, that you want to get to know me personally. So I think that might be a good way to connect with Koreans. So let me just tell you, Koreans may seem like very shy, very timid, not social at all at first. It might be because of the language barrier and cultural barrier. They try not to offend people, right? So they may like hold it to themselves, but once you get to know them, they will not shut up, right? Like, we're very social animals. So you might learn that once you get through the first offense, you might find some people that you thought introverted might be very, very outgoing. So yeah, good luck with that. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, yep.
Hi, my name is Robbie Slaughter. I'm an independent candidate for the U.S. Congress here in our district.
Hello.
My question is about misconceptions. I'm curious, what misconceptions do Americans have of South Koreans, and what are some common misconceptions South Koreans have of Americans?
Okay, the first part, you guys tell me. What kind of stereotypes do you have of Koreans? Yes?
I used to work at Warner, and I always thought, kind of seem very standoffish. Like, they kind of, I don't know, maybe because, like you said, it's a
Right.
barrier, but I just always thought, oh, I don't know, they kind of seem a little intimidating, just from someone that doesn't understand. Or
Sure. Yeah, we're not the group of people that will first come up to you and smile at you and say hello first. We kind of have that sense of like, you don't talk to strangers. It's such an American thing. Do you guys know that? Like a small talk with strangers. Like, what do you think of the weather to a complete stranger? If you think about it, it's really weird when it comes to foreigners' perspective. Like, you don't know me. Why are you talking to me kind of thing? So that's probably what you have experienced. Any other stereotypes you thought of Koreans? It's okay. I'm thick-skinned. You can say it. Don't say anything about our driving. We're trying. We're trying, okay? We're not used to driving wide roads. We're from very narrow streets, so we're learning. Maybe it's just me, okay. In the flip side, when I first was coming here, my perception of Americans were like, they're loud. They're very loud, meaning like they're very expressive, like such a big hand gestures, a lot of like eyebrows moving when you guys talk, like all of your muscles in your face move when you talk, kind of thing, like always showing a lot of teeth, kind of thing. Like that was my perception, and I think it's true, isn't it? I think it's true. Yeah. I hope that answered the candidate's question. Any other, I think we had a question over there. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, I'm Carrie from the Community Foundation. We moved a lot as a child.
I wondered what we're doing for the wives and the children, because in my case, we move a lot, and it's changing schools, the kids are new, if the wife doesn't work, she's at home, and if mom is not happy, when dad gets home, he's probably not gonna be happy either. How do we help that? It's not just the working part of the family that's adjusting to life at home. How do we help that whole transition? Or what are we doing in the schools or, to help? You don't have welcome Friday anymore like you did when you were little. Someone would come to your house and say, hi, you're new in the community.
Right.
And you're gonna get that full of coupons. What do we do now? How do we fix that?
Gotcha. I'm sure this is gonna be a concern down the road when Koreans actually bring families here to Kokomo. I can just give you an example. I run a nonprofit back in West Lafayette called International Center of West Lafayette. And the mission is to connect from international population that are coming from Purdue affiliated with local population. So we offer programs called like Women's Coffee and Conversation, where ladies from all over the country, they just come and sit, have coffee, and they have a conversation. It's a great way for them to just mingle without any agenda, just share information. There are a lot of ladies who have been here longer, and or they're ladies that just came to America and trying to fit in. So there are a lot of information that could be shared with, if you have like a comfortable setting like that. I mean, Ivy Tech will be a great setting for programs like that, but I think this is where a lot of nonprofit organizations can thrive, because they will be like peripheral population from surplus energy that needs to be supported too. So I think it's gonna be naturally formed when they're like group of Korean wives that are just sitting at home. They will want to get together and start doing volunteering work, get to learn the community more. So they might have a social group formed to go to concerts together, go to sports games together. Like happy wife means happy homes, right? So I think there's a room for programs like that in Kokomo on the road. Yep. Any other questions?
Will there be a Korean speaking class offered here?
That's
We
an
get a
Ethan
lot of
question,
that
isn't it?
in our, at Star Plus, a lot of people, Americans want to learn how to speak.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
So we're about 50 American, 50% Korean.
Gotcha.
And for us, a big chunk of that 50% Korean are not Americanized. They literally are here for a 3 or 4 year contract directly from
Sure.
from Korea. From Korea. So
Gotcha.
it helps us to want to learn.
Gotcha. I mean, I've seen the nonprofit that I organized. We used to have like a language exchange program where if you speak the language I want to learn and that person wants to learn this language, they just set up a time and just chat and try to ask questions. I mean, I think that's how language can be obtained, right? Just by practicing instead of like doing YouTube tutorial on your own. You have to speak it when it comes to language. So I don't know. It's a fun project for HR to come up with a language partner program, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What do Koreans do for fun? I know that it's hard to kind of engage them if you don't really have an idea where to start, right? Like, how do we get them in a social setting? Like, play golf, we
Yes.
go fishing, we go hunting. I mean, is that
Oh, hunting is very foreign to us.
right?
I don't know a single Korean that hunts, except for myself. I've gone to deer hunt and it traumatized me. But I think that might be a new fun experience because it's something we haven't done. So that might be interesting. Sports, I mean, I think all Korean guys grew up playing soccer. It's football, soccer. Sports could be a fun activity. Golfing, oh God, yeah, Korean people love golf. And if you have a karaoke machine, that might be a fun thing to do. Yeah.
Karaoke machine and soju.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Someone has learned. Yeah. Many different interests. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for your time and attention, your interest. Thank you.
We lost our wireless mic, so I should be safe. Thank you all, great questions. So like I said, this is our first session of the continuation of this series. So where you registered on greaterkokomo.com, there's a link that says register for events. Many of you probably found that there. Registration isn't required. We don't want this to feel restrictive in any way. Always open to the public. If you don't register, we will still let you come and attend. But keep an eye out. We have session 2 scheduled already. So that will be about 8 weeks from now. It's November 6th, same time, 9 a.m. Location will be different. This one's going to be at the Hobson on Washington Street. And this session will be specifically for hospitality and service partners. So it'll cover a wide array of things. If you work in a hotel, a restaurant, a bank, any business where you're extending a service and there's potential for you to offer that service to Korean business travelers, this will definitely apply to you and be a great learning experience. So keep an eye out for that. That will be all over our social media, but that will be session 2. And you can expect sessions to continue through the majority of the following year, 2025 as well, about 6 to 8 weeks apart. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those, but thank you, Sue and BJ, so much. Thank you all for joining this morning, and I hope you'll join us for session 2.